Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
When I was 7, I watched my birthday cake slip from my hands because Kara screamed that she wanted the biggest piece. I remember Mom lifting her onto her hip, cooing, "Don't cry, sweetheart. Alicia will share with you." Sharing became my whole life. Toys, clothes, attention, all parceled out to soothe Kara's hunger for more. It didn't stop with childhood. Kara could pull the sun from my sky with one crocodile tear. By the time I turned 18, I knew my escape route by heart. College in Chicago, far enough to breathe air that didn't taste like second place. At college, I met Martin during my final year exhibit. He stood in front of my painting, a girl standing behind a glass wall, and said, "It feels like she's trapped. I want to pull her out." I fell hard for that voice, that promise. For a while, he made good on it. Our wedding was small and simple. Kara wore silver silk and sulked the whole day, and I remember thinking, finally, something that's only mine. But just a year later, Martin changed. Quiet nights turned into hushed phone calls in the hallway. Smiles turned into forced apologies. When I asked, "Who is she?" he'd brush my hair behind my ear and whisper, "Don't you trust me?" Like I was the fool for asking. 5 months passed in this constant game of cat and mouse, and then my birthday arrived. Tonight they're both here. Martin on my right, Kara opposite me, perched like a smug cat. My parents fuss over the wine. The table is set with my mother's good china. The only thing she says, she'll leave me when she's gone. Funny how they can pass down plates but never loyalty. I catch Martin staring at Kara's phone. She smiles, touches his wrist. So quick, so brazen I almost laugh. "Martin," I say, my voice steady, "pass the salt." He jumps, rattles the spoon. Kara giggles. My mother tuts, "Oh, Alicia, don't be so tense." I stab a piece of lamb. I have secrets too, photos, receipts, truth sharp enough to slice through every lie they're serving me tonight. Let them whisper. Let them think I'm blind. This table is set for a betrayal they're not ready to taste, but I am. The knife hovers over the cake, my mother's prized almond torte. I can almost taste the sweetness, but my stomach knots like it knows what's coming. Kara clinks her glass, that silvery, fake laugh, and the chatter hushes. "Alicia, I know it's your big day, but..." She rests a hand on Martin's shoulder. He flinches. So do I. My father's fork clatters against his plate. "Kara, what on earth?" Kara beams at me, teeth too white, eyes too bright. I just can't keep it in anymore. I'm 12 weeks pregnant. The word pregnant punches the air out of my chest. I glance at Martin, but he won't meet my eyes. He's tracing the rim of his wine glass, lips pale. With Martin's baby, Kara adds, like she's announcing a prize she's stolen from my shelf. My mother gasps. "Alicia, did you know?" I found out about their relationship a few months ago. I immediately hired a private investigator and gathered irrefutable evidence of my husband's infidelity. I replied to my mother. I push my chair back slowly, the legs scraping against the tile. The sound echoes in the stunned silence. "Sit down, Alicia." Martin whispers, but there's no force behind it. He's trembling. I study him. The man I once trusted to guard my heart. I lean forward just enough for him to hear. "Tell them about the vasectomy, Martin, or should I?" Kara's smirk falters. "What are you talking about?" I straighten, lifting my phone. 2 years ago, Martin got snipped. I have the paperwork, the clinic receipt, the doctor's statement. I tap the screen, the folder I've built like an arsenal. My father looks like he's swallowed glass. "Is this true?" Martin chokes out, "It's not." A lie. I cut in. "Show them the proof, Martin. Tell them you've been lying, not just to me, but to her too." Kara's face drains of color. She opens her mouth, but nothing comes out. She looks small, like the child who used to scream for my toys, except now the toy was my husband, and he's defective. "You humiliated me for this?" I laugh, the sound raw. "Your baby isn't his, Kara. So who's the father? Or do you have no clue?" My mother whimpers, "Stop, Alicia, please." I lift my glass. "No, mother. For once. Let her sit in the mess she made. I'm done cleaning up after her." The room shatters into whispers. Kara stares at the tablecloth, Martin's hand limp on her chair. Happy birthday to me. I didn't slam the door behind me when I left my parents' dining room. I wanted them to hear the echo of my absence instead. Outside, the night air wrapped around me, cool and bracing. I could still hear my mother crying, my father's disbelief, Kira's shrill, panicked voice. I walked straight to my car, hands steady for the first time in months. No one followed me. Of course not. Why chase the daughter who never caused trouble when you could hover over the one who lights fires for fun? My phone buzzed before I'd even pulled away. Martin's name lit up the screen. I let it ring until it died. Another call. Kara this time. Blocked. At home, I poured myself a glass of wine. I stood in the kitchen surrounded by boxes I'd packed weeks ago. The divorce papers were on the counter, my attorney Patricia on speed dial. I had been ready for this long before Kara's big performance. A sharp knock rattled the door. I didn't move. Another knock, this time with Martin's voice, muffled, desperate. Alicia, please, let me explain. I opened the door just wide enough to see his sunken eyes. He smelled like stale whiskey and regret. There's nothing left to explain, I said calmly. He pressed his palm against the frame. She tricked me. I didn't know. I almost laughed. Don't insult me. You knew exactly what she was. You just didn't think I'd catch you. Alicia, I love you. He pleaded, voice cracking. Don't do this. We can fix it. I stepped back, shaking my head. You broke at the moment you made me your sister's consolation prize. He flinched like I'd slapped him. Where will you go? Somewhere you and Kira can't touch, I said. The papers are ready. You'll hear from Patricia tomorrow. Martin looked around my half-empty living room, eyes settling on a photo of us on the mantel. Our wedding day, his arm around me, Kira hovering just out of frame. He reached out his hand for me to give him the photograph. I pulled his hand away. No more shadows, I said softly. Not yours, not hers. He sagged against the door. What about us? There was never an us, I said, voice low. Only what I gave and what you took. I closed the door on him, and on every piece of me that still believed loving someone could keep them loyal. The silence after Martin's departure was louder than any fight we'd ever had. I sat on the floor among half-packed boxes, running my thumb over the edge of our wedding photo before sliding it into the trash. It wasn't rage that kept me awake that night, it was the hum of freedom, edged with grief. By morning, my phone was full of messages. Kara's texts swung from defensive to pathetic. Alicia, we need to talk. I'm sorry, you know I didn't mean for this to happen. Please, don't hate me. I didn't respond. Some wounds don't bleed, but they throb just the same. The doorbell rang at noon. My mother's voice filtered through the peephole. I opened it just wide enough for her worried face. She looked older than last night, her eyes darting around like she expected the walls to burst into flame. Alicia, sweetheart, we need to fix this. I crossed my arms. There's nothing to fix, Mother. She flinched at my tone. Your sister she's not well. She's scared. She says you were cruel. I barked out a bitter laugh. Cruel? She stood at my birthday dinner and ripped my life apart for sport. She's still your sister, my mother insisted. No, I said firmly. She's your project. She's your burden now. I'm done carrying her mistakes on my back. Her mouth trembled. Don't say that. We're family. Families forgive. I stepped aside just enough to show her the boxes stacked behind me. These are all the parts of my life I'm taking with me. The rest? You can keep the lies and the shadows. She looked at the floor, twisting her hands. Where will you go? Somewhere light touches everything, I said quietly. Where her chaos doesn't find me. My mother's shoulders sagged. Your father and I, we didn't know how deep this ran. Maybe we failed you both. I almost reached for her hand. Almost. I don't want apologies. I want space. She nodded, tears sliding down her cheeks. Will you answer her calls? No, I said. Not now. Maybe not ever. When the door clicked shut behind her, the empty rooms felt less like an echo and more like a promise. I poured the last of the wine, raised my glass to the cracked ceiling, and whispered to the silence, may the spaces she left behind be filled with something better than her. A year later, my new apartment breathed with warmth my old life never had. Sunlight streamed through wide windows, touching every corner Kira's shadow could never reach. 2 days ago, I received a letter from Kira. Kira has always been very quick-witted. She found me and tracked down my location using my phone. I sat at my kitchen table, rereading her letter. I'm in therapy now. I see how I tried to steal your light because I thought it didn't have my own. A knock pulled me back. It was Kara, smaller somehow, holding her baby boy on her hip. Alicia, she said, voice trembling, I don't expect you to forgive me. I just want you to know I'm trying. For him. I looked at child's sleepy eyes and then at her. My sister, flawed but human. I don't know when I'll trust you again, I said honestly. She nodded, a tear slipping free. That's fair. Before she turned, I touched her arm. But maybe this time, we'll build something real. No shadows. She smiled, hopeful, as she walked away. I stood by my window, the city glowing below, a glass of wine in my hand. For once, I wasn't someone's second choice. I was my own first, and that was enough light to last a lifetime.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.